Chapter 3. Talking to Carrie. Carrie doesn't come the first evening. I sit there for 2 hours and drink a lot of coffee. 5 big cups, black, no sugar. It's a good thing I like coffee. But she comes the second evening. I'm sitting with my back to the wall, watching the door. Through the cafe window, I see Aunt in her black clothes. She's walking past, slowly, looking into the cafe. A minute or two later, Carrie comes in and walks over to my table. Red hair, green eyes, no smile. I stand up. Hi, Carrie. I'm Shirley Holmes. Thanks for coming. Have a seat. Can I get you a coffee or a tea? I'm using my head teacher voice. Right, girls. Sit down, open your books, get to work. I don't want Carrie to have time to think. She doesn't want coffee or tea. She wants to have an argument. I'm not going home, she says, so you can forget that. I don't need my family. I have a new life now. I watch her face, and she stares back at me with angry green eyes. I don't think Carrie is in trouble. Carrie knows what she wants, and Carrie gets what she wants. I think Carrie makes trouble. I begin to feel sorry for the boyfriend. Why are you here, Carrie? I say. What did your friend say to you? She doesn't answer, just looks at me. Did they tell you about your mum? Crying all night because her little girl is living on the streets, because her little girl is taking drugs, because her little girl is in big, big trouble. Suddenly, Carrie has a lot to say. I'm not living on the streets, she shouts at me, and I don't do drugs. I never do drugs. Who told you all this? It's not true. People in the cafe turn their heads to look at us. I smile around at everybody, a smile to say, everything's fine here, just a big sister, little sister argument. Happens all the time. Enjoy your coffee. Have a nice day. I look back at Carrie's angry face. But your mum doesn't know that, I say quietly. At night, when she can't sleep, she thinks about those things. You're only 15, Carrie, and it's a big, bad world out there. Of course your mum is afraid for you. Carrie looks down at the table. Yeah, well. She looks up. But I'm okay. I'm fine. You can tell her that. Why don't you tell her? I say. Call her. Text her. Carrie stares at me. Who sent you? She says. Mum? Or was it my dad? Your mum. Look, I'm not texting Mum because I don't want my dad to know. I don't want to see him again, ever. We're not talking about your dad, I say quickly. I know all about your dad. We're talking about your mum. And your mum needs to know you're all right. But she needs to hear it from you, not me. She texts you every day, you know, and you never text back. Never. Carrie looks away. I got a new mobile and changed my number. I never got her texts. I laugh. Very good, Carrie. You read detective stories, right? Always change your mobile when you don't want people to find you. Dangerous things, mobile phones. Carrie nearly smiles. Thomas says, she begins, then stops. Is Thomas your boyfriend? I say. The one from Lithuania. Are you still with him? Of course I'm still with him. Carrie is angry again. I love him, and he loves me. We're in love. I try not to smile. How wonderful to be 15 and in love for the first time. That's great, I say. I'm happy for you. But please, please text your mum. Tell her you're all right. OK, says Carrie. This evening. She looks at her watch and stands up. I must go. I'm meeting someone. Thanks for coming, Carrie. And remember that text. She walks out of the cafe. And 15 seconds later, I'm following her. She's walking down the high street. Maybe to the bus station. I've got a minute, but I must be quick. A private investigator always needs to carry a big bag. I stop by a shop window and open my bag. 3 seconds later, I'm wearing a blue t-shirt over my red t-shirt. In another 5 seconds, I have a wig on, and my short black hair is now long blonde hair. Now I'm walking away from the shop window, and I'm wearing glasses. My big brown bag is now inside a small black backpack. No time to change the shoes. Carrie is a long way down the street. I walk fast, nearly running, and watch her red head in front of me. When I get to the bus station, I can't see her at first, and walk quickly past all the people waiting. She's there, waiting for the number 71 bus. I wait too, about 20 metres away. And I'm reading the evening newspaper with great interest. A private investigator always has today's newspaper in their bag. But Carrie doesn't look round. When the bus comes, Carrie goes upstairs. This is good news for me, because I can sit downstairs, at the back of the bus. I can see Carrie when she gets off, but she can't see me. It's a short bus ride. Only 10 minutes. Carrie gets off the bus and turns left into a small street. I'm 30 metres behind her. Carrie looks round once and sees someone with blonde hair in a blue t-shirt and glasses. She doesn't know me. Halfway down the street, she crosses the road and goes into a big old house. I walk past the house, not too fast, not too slow. I can't follow her into the house because there are no other people around. You can only hide easily when there are lots of people around. I take the next right, walk for 10 minutes, then turn around and come back. This time, I walk to the front door of the big house. There are 6 bells by the door, with names next to them. It's a house with 6 different apartments. I look at the names, but there isn't a Williams next to any bell. Well, of course not. She's living with her Lithuanian boyfriend. I look at the names again. John Ozumba, Kay Brown, Lily Sardelli, R. Varnett, T. Grigas, M. Westerbrook. Varnett and Grigas. Lithuanian names, I think. Tomas Grigas, perhaps? You can't stand in a quiet street and watch a house. Everybody looks at you and says, "Who's that woman? What's she doing?" But you can watch a house from a car. People often sit in cars, waiting for somebody, having a sleep, checking their phone messages. I go home, make some spaghetti for dinner, and text Edith Williams. Saw C today. She's fine. More tomorrow. Chapter 4. The Boyfriend. The next day, I'm in the street, in my car, opposite the house. I have a cup of coffee, a newspaper, and a lot of time. I want to see Thomas and talk to him. Then I can make my report to Mrs. Williams, and the job is finished. At 17:45, Carrie walks down the street and goes into the house. I'm watching carefully now. People are coming home from work. In cars, on bicycles, on foot. Lots to watch. 2 people go into the house. A young woman and a short, older man with white hair. At 18:25, a young man walks down the street, tall, with dark hair. He walks to the front door, and in 2 seconds I'm out of the car, across the street, and standing behind him at the door. He opens the door and turns to look at me. "Hi," I say. "Okay to come in? I'm visiting Mike Westerbrook at number 6. "Yes, that's okay." the young man says. He holds the door open for me, and we walk up the stairs together. Nice and sunny today, I say, but rain's coming in later, they say. Says the young man. At the top of the stairs, he turns to the door with number 4 on it, gets out his key, and opens the door. Suddenly, I run back to him. Hey, excuse me, is this yours? It was on the floor. In my hand, I'm holding a weekly bus ticket. It's more than 2 months old, but he can't see that because I've got my hand over the date. He looks at the ticket, and I look through the open door of number 4 and see Carrie in the room. Then I'm through the door and inside the apartment. Hey! The young man shouts at me. What are you doing? Who are you? Get out! I turn to Carrie. Hello, Carrie, I say. Did you text your mum last night? The young man is next to me now. Who is this? He says to Carrie. What's this about? He stares at me angrily. Carrie looks angry too. She's a private investigator, she tells the young man. Mum sent her. I talked to her yesterday in the cafe. I told you, remember? Ah. The young man suddenly smiles. He has a very nice smile. How exciting! I never met a private investigator before. How do you do? I am Thomas Varnas, and I'm very pleased to meet you. He holds out his hand, and we shake hands. Wrong name, I think. Not the name on the door. But this is the Lithuanian boyfriend. Shirley Holmes, pleased to meet you too, I say. I'm sorry about this, but I need to talk to you. Carrie's mother... Of course, says Thomas. I understand. Please, sit down. Can I get you some coffee? He and Carrie make coffee, and we all sit down round a table. Thomas looks at me, smiling. So, he says, you want to ask me questions so you can tell Carrie's mother all about me. I am very happy about that. What do you want to know? Shall I begin? So I listen to the story of Thomas Varnas's life. He is 19 years old and comes from Vilnius in Lithuania. He came to London 6 months ago because he wants to start a business. His family make linen cloth in Vilnius, and Thomas wants to sell it in England. At the moment, he's working Monday to Friday in a hospital because he needs the money. But he's selling linen in the street market on Saturdays. Business is good and is getting better every week. Carrie wants to tell me more about it. It's beautiful linen, you know. Oh, The best in the world. I'm learning all about it. She's excited. I can see it in her green eyes. Thomas is smiling. Carrie is very good with the colours of the linen, he says. She wants to work with me. And she's good at business too. Very good. Better than me. He puts the back of his hand against Carrie's face. Just a touch. A very gentle touch. And smiles into her eyes. She looks up at him, and the love in her eyes is clear. For a second or two, the world stops for them. These two young people are very much in love. Carrie looks at me again. Everybody wants to wear clothes made of linen now, you see, so our business is going to get bigger. Lots of hard work, says Thomas. But we're young. We can work hard. No problem about that. But we do have one problem. He looks at Carrie. Your family. Oh, that, Carrie says. Not important. I don't need them. We're fine without them. Not so, Thomas says gently. Your mother is unhappy. Your little brother is unhappy. And your father, too. No, he isn't. My father is a horrible man. We have arguments all the time. Every day he tells me, do this, don't do that, do this. He's always right, and I'm always wrong. Always. He never listens to me. He doesn't understand me. He doesn't want to understand me. He's just horrible. Shh, shh, Thomas says. When people are angry, sometimes they say bad things. Maybe they don't really think that. You and your father have a lot of arguments, and you both get angry and say things. Yes, but, Carrie says. I sit and listen. This is not their first argument, and it's not going to be their last one. It's interesting to listen to them. Thomas is very gentle with Carrie, but he's strong too. He's in love, but he still thinks clearly. Excuse me, I say. I'm still here, you know. They look at me. Thomas laughs. Sorry, he says. We talk about this often. In the end, Carrie must go back home. She knows that. No, I don't, says Carrie. I'm not going back home. No way. But Carrie, you can't cut your family out of your life. Family is important. My family is important to me, and I want you to have your family too. To be friends with your mother and your father and your little brother. They're off again. I'm trying not to smile. This argument is going to run and run. I think Thomas is good for Carrie. Well, I'm done here, I say. It was good to meet you, Thomas. I can tell Mrs. Williams about you now. And, well, good luck to both of you. Carrie smiles. Thanks, Shirley. Can I call you Shirley? Aunt and Janice said you were all right. I sent Mum a text last night, you know. Thomas stands up too. I must get home now, he says. I stare at him, surprised. Home? You live here, in this apartment, don't you? No, Thomas says. Of course not. Carrie is 15. We cannot marry before she is 16 years old. It is against the law. So, of course, I don't live here. It is not correct. But this is your apartment. No, Thomas says again. It's my sister's apartment. Carrie lives here with my sister, Ruta Varnut. She's working late tonight. I have a room with a friend, near Putney Bridge. I'm very surprised. I sit down again and look at Carrie. Why didn't you tell me? Everybody thinks you're living with Thomas. Carrie doesn't look pleased. Well, I didn't tell them that. But my dad always thinks the worst. And sometimes my mum too. But we can get married next year, when I'm 16. Thomas laughs. He pulls her hair gently. 16 is still very young to get married. We can wait. I want to know your family first. And you want to know my family. Yes, I really want to meet your family, Carrie says. But you don't want to meet mine. You really don't. Thomas pulls her hair again, not so gently this time. Of course I do. I want to talk to your father. I want him to like me. We have all the time in the world, Carrie. Let's just take our time, eh? Carrie tries to look angry. Then she laughs and puts her arms around him. Thomas and I leave the house together. He walks with me to my car. I am sorry about Mr. Williams, he says. I think he loves Carrie a lot. Maybe I can meet him and talk to him one day. But Mrs. Williams doesn't need to be afraid for Carrie. Please, tell her that. Of course, I say. I've got a lot to say to Mrs. Williams. Thomas and I shake hands again and say goodbye. I drive back to my office and check my messages. There's a message from Saeed. Call me about the Lithuanian boyfriend. I send him a text. Found the boyfriend, thanks. And the girl. All well, no problems. Easy case, nothing horrible. But thanks for the help. S.H. A text comes back from Saeed at once. Oh, thanks a lot. I made 12 phone calls for you, all for nothing. Next time, you can help me. SP. Oh dear, Saeed is not pleased. I often need his help, so I must be nice to him. I send him another text. Sorry, really sorry. Can I buy you a beer tonight? SH. A text comes back from him. OK, the King's Arms, by the river. 9 o'clock this evening. See you, SP.